Oh, hello there. Yes, well, hurrah for the weekend. Yes, I'm actually safely ensconced in a hotel whilst I'm doing this at the same time. Oddly enough. Hurrah for scheduling, eh? Yes, anyway, today it's time to talk about Friar. Is he still a friar? Anyway, I don't really know. Calvin Robinson, who has done all the, not particularly good grace, because unfortunately there's the internet, of going to the US of A. And a few days ago, you may have seen him. Oh, yes, he managed to meet that hero of his, Donald Trump. We'll come back to Trump in a little bit with him. But, Calvin has done the decent thing in terms of leaving the UK, because after all, you wouldn't want to invest any time here when there's a great deal more godly work to be made done elsewhere. Yes, indeed. But the thing about Friar Calvin that I personally don't like is simply the huge hypocrisy that there is with him. He will talk earnestly about freedom. Okay, yeah, it's that big thing, isn't it? We have to have freedom after all, yeah? And of course, if you're in America, then you're going to be all for the freedom to carry guns, not the freedom not to be shot. And of course, we here in the UK, as Calvin rightly points out, decided not to allow people to indulge in mass shootings. And oddly, we haven't allowed people to indulge in mass shootings. Can you remember the last mass shooting? No, we don't have them anymore, do we? Just like Australia, we decided to do things about it. But I guess if you're setting up home as an immigrant, hopefully not illegal at the moment, Calvin, but nevertheless somebody that really shouldn't be there, but we'll maybe come back to that particular concept with him. Maybe that's what you're just going to do, and you're just going to do as the natives do. After all, that's what you should do, shouldn't you? You should buy into the US culture, even though the vast majority of Americans aren't very keen on the notion of people getting hold of guns. But that's another story, isn't it? Anyway, he is, of course, a very, very godly individual, and is very keen on the rights of everybody apart from the people that he considers ungodly, which is vastly including, gay people and women. We'll come back to gay people, inevitably. So he's been sort of regularly posting stuff up about how awful it is that people can't hang around outside abortion clinics harassing people. That must be awful. Imagine not being allowed to do that. Imagine that level of not freedom, whereby, if you're doing something in terms of a private medical procedure, you just really should basically put up with people shouting at you, metaphorically or otherwise. Yes. Anyway, he's very much tied into the notion that women, especially women, shouldn't have rights. He was very upset when the Democrats put out a election broadcast suggesting that women should just, vote against what their husbands want. Do like this: one household, one vote, universal suffrage divides the family unit. Yes, you see, you should have somebody who's in charge, not going to say it's a bloke, but it's definitely going to be a bloke, who should cast the vote for the entire family. After all, men know better, don't they, Calvin? You being a bloke would know that. Yes, just a shame perhaps in your own particular way, although it was useful as a stepping stone in the UK in terms of the mixed race stuff. But again, I guess that scores certain brownie points in the States. Yes, so long as they are longer two but one flesh, they're what therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Yes, except of course a lot of women are quite keen on putting vast amounts of nasty misogynistic men. Not saying you're a nasty misogynistic man, but going to hint it enormously. Yeah, to one side, aren't they, Calvin? Yes. Actually posted this up, and let this one just speak for itself and sink in. Okay? Make it happen. Think about that. Think about if you're a woman anywhere near this bloke, right? Anywhere near him. Anyway, moving on from that, of course, he does very regularly still, as magically as a UKip spokesman, for what exactly? Yeah, even more bigotry than usual? Hard to say. Anyway, of course, he doesn't like the modern church that might actually accept gay people. Yeah, and yet, oddly enough, he is often seen, of course, in the company of Dan Wootton. One has to ask exactly what his relationship, cough cough, is with Dan Wootton. Right, okay, is Dan Wootton a non-practising homosexual? Because apparently that's the type of homosexual that Calvin doesn't mind, and apparently because God has told him, or I don't know, maybe Calvin has told God that. Hard to say, really. Yes. Anyway, I'm rather glad that he's gone, but I'm rather unhappy that he's going to peddle the same very nasty stuff over there that he was here. Don't forget, next time you see Lawrence Fox, that this is the man that sits regularly with Lawrence Fox for a nice chinwag about women and gay people and other things that shouldn't be allowed. And of course, will be given a platform in loads of other places, like with the boys at the Lotus Eaters. I use that phrase very precisely. Yeah. It's astounding that these people can claim that they're perfectly reasonable human beings when the actual percentage of the population that they think basically shouldn't have any rights or to exist is somewhere around about 65. Yeah, still, I'm the lefty that doesn't believe in freedom. Anyway, do have a very godly day, won't you? Do make sure that God is quite happy with you, or at least that Calvin is, yeah. At least for once somebody actually left. Why can't we just get rid of all of them, for God's sake? If they hate it so much, just do go somewhere like the States. Yeah, Connor Tomlinson, you can just go off to the States, can't you, mate? Hey, take your ears with you. Yeah. Anyway, do have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. I'm probably going to go for a walk on the promenade, I think. Oh, yes.